The first question is a little bit of why LinkedIn. We've got a lot of social networks out there. Why are we adding another one? Because we end up like this a lot. As a person looking for a sponsorship, as a person looking for a new partnership, we play out kind of a common scenario, right? Got a swim meet coming up. We've got a need. We've got to buy 100 pizzas for this swim meet. And so I go to the swim parents, and I go to my board, and I'm like, does anybody know a guy over at Papa Murphy's that can help me out, can help us out, partner with a couple different, for our swim meet so that we can get some pizzas. Doesn't always work out all that well, right? You get a lot of maybe no responses, a lot of head nods, but you never really get that connection that you're looking for. And so you end up in one of two ways. Either one, you just drop it, you buy the pizzas, you move on. Or number two, you maybe take that extra step, you make a cold call. Cold calls are awful, but they're kind of a part of it. You make that cold call, you end up talking to like the shift manager, you're not getting anywhere, and you end up coming home with a pizza as opposed to a sponsorship deal, right? And so LinkedIn is one of those things that can take us from out there like hoping someone else can make this happen for us, and instead change that conversation to, hey Jim, I saw John Wilson on LinkedIn. He manages the branch over at Papa Murphy's. Could you connect us? Yeah, great guy, John, right? Great guy. So it helps to make that conversation a little bit easier. It helps to make it more directed. As Jim said, my role is in trying to find new partners to bring to USA Swimming, and I spend a lot of time looking at what are potential businesses, what are they doing, what's the structure of their organization, so who might be the right person for me to get in touch with to just start talking to them about what it could be. So LinkedIn, real quick, who already right now has a personal LinkedIn page for themselves? Good amount. How many are connected to your swim club? A lot less. How many of your swim clubs have LinkedIn pages? A couple, yeah. But I mean, all the way across the board, that is how, by kind of developing a LinkedIn presence, it's how we can make that cold call just get a little bit warmer, and every little bit helps. So just as a quick backfill, LinkedIn is essentially a social network for professionals. Think about it as Facebook for more business. You're going to show up to a networking event. Show up in person, I meet somebody, we talk about what they do, we talk about what I do, we exchange business cards, and then I come back to my desk and I just have a stack of business cards sitting there. This takes those business cards, puts them online for you. Starts to see how your network map shows, and you start to see who do they know, and one more level out of who do those people know. So instead of having to dig through my cards when I'm ready to try and figure out who knows a pizza guy, now I can go onto LinkedIn, do a couple searches, and it just shows me who do I need to talk to make that connection for me. Specifically for swim teams, 3 ways that we think LinkedIn could really be beneficial. Number 1, just establish your swim club as a business. And establish yourself in the business community. Secondly, connect to that business community, both locally and also to the industry community here in swimming. And then thirdly, as we just talked about, try to make that cold call a bit warmer, try to know who your connections are, and maybe be real targeted with who you're reaching out to. I'm going to hit 10 tips. Some of them you may be able to implement right away. Some of them you may have to put on the back burner or come back to, but I just want to put 10 things in front of you that hopefully you can use when you get back. The first piece I think we've been talking about, it's the whole kind of reason for SwimBiz. Every swim club is a business. Every team that you have is a business. And creating a team page is a great way to say that. I mean, this is social network for business. So with LinkedIn, as you can see, it's pretty easy. There's not much to it, and not very many swim clubs are doing this. I focus on that logo up in the top corner, obviously your name and your mission statement, and that's the whole profile. You could do it at your next break. Get your swim team out there. Only 17% of small businesses in the US are actually on LinkedIn as a business. So just by taking the first step here, you've stepped way in front of some of those other guys that are in your community looking. The next one is pretty maybe self-explanatory, but tell people about it. Go to the people that are already involved with you as a business. Again, from your company page, talk to your swim parents, talk to your board members, talk to the folks that are already your sponsors, and just ask them to do a follow. I know we're asking them to follow us on a lot of different channels. This could be as simple as an email. Hey guys, we just started a company LinkedIn page. We're pretty excited about it. Click here on this link to give us a follow. And all that does is start to build your team's network to start to get you out into the community a little bit more, become a little bit more visible as a business in your city. And the third part about this visibility section for your team is about posting updates. Okay? Again, this is the business side, so keep that relevant when you're thinking about what type of content you want to put here. Is it thank yous to your sponsors? Is it we've got volunteer opportunities coming forward? New jobs, new staff coming in general. Keep it business focused. The key to LinkedIn, some of the other ones, and you just heard Elizabeth talking about, hey, if you're not on Instagram, but once a week or once a month, you lose some relevance. Here, what's important is the quality of your post, that it is business focused, that it is relevant. Be relevant, don't be constant. Because people are going to stop listening if you're not talking about business, right? That's what they're focused on here. Also, quick tip, based on the network, weekdays, weekday mornings in particular. Nobody's checking LinkedIn on the weekends, work's off. So just focus in on when are people at work. That's when posting makes sense on LinkedIn. The last piece for visibility is really about yourself, your personal visibility. If a lot of hands went up that they have personal LinkedIn, that's awesome. If you don't, think about making one for yourself as a representative of your club. If you do have one, I'll talk about it in a second, but think about starting to incorporate your role at swimming into that as well. That's mine. Again, it's essentially your online resume. You can go as deep as you like. You can stay as high level as you like. But get a few things in. If you don't have one already for your business, then focus your resume on what you're doing with your swim club, because that's how you want to connect with people here. That's the goal of why we're talking about LinkedIn for your swimming business. So then we've got our team page. We've got ourselves established. How do we start to connect with the business communities? A couple different ways. Number one, just the companies out there, right? Think about companies that are in swimming. Think about your sponsors. Think about companies in your area, in your local business. I promise you, your Chamber of Commerce has a LinkedIn page. Also media, Colorado Springs Gazette, as well as some swimming endemic medias as well. A lot of opportunities here within just following companies, just the same. And you would do this from your personal page. So now you're connecting to them. You know how they're presenting themselves as a business. You know what maybe their goals are. You can see if maybe you have some things that are aligning, and you can come to them as a prospective business, prospective sponsor. The second piece is LinkedIn groups. So this is like joining a network group without having to have awkward coffee with strangers, okay? Which is always fun. So LinkedIn does have a groups page. You can see up along the top main search capability, the tabs underneath. The main focus of LinkedIn search is people. You can also look for companies that way. You can look for groups that way. So there's a couple swimming professional groups. I highlighted a couple there on the left. But there are also, again, with your Chamber of Commerce, probably have a networking group associated with it. You can see there's a Northern Colorado Springs Business Connections group that if you lived here locally, you could join. That's a way to, again, just get your swim club, yourself out there in the community as a business. The next piece is really about building your swim network, right? So if you already have a professional profile, think about adding your swim parents. Think about adding your board members. Yeah, you may not work with them in your professional job, but you still want to know, who do they know? What's their network look like? Can they help me make an easier call down the road? Also think about really anybody that you work with on the dry side of your sport. Who's your main contact at your swim shop? A lot of people put their sponsors on the back of their shirt. Who do you email about to get that logo? Like, that's probably a great connection of how that logo got on the back of your shirt. That's a great business connection for you to know. You're already working with them. That, well, just real quick, that informal network is already in place. It's a way just to build it up so that with people that you trust, so that when you're ready to ask the question, it just becomes a better question, an easier question for you. Okay, so LinkedIn has these incredible search capabilities, right? You can find just about anybody, just about anywhere. But it's also, I mean, there's something like 300 million users worldwide of LinkedIn. It's a little overwhelming if you don't know how to kind of start to narrow it down. So last week I went on a bit of a quest to say, okay, Marriott is a USA Swimming corporate partner. But what if I live here in Colorado Springs and I work with Colorado Springs swim team here? And I want to reach out to the Colorado Springs Marriott to say, hey, Marriott as a corporation supports USA Swimming. Would you as a local hotel support my swim club? Can we talk about how that business relationship may work? So I wanted to find the sponsorship person at this Marriott in Colorado Springs. Okay? So I started with just searching Marriott International. Pretty easy way to start the search. Came up with 37,000 people. That is not super helpful. Right? So that's where this piece on the right here starts to make a ton of sense for you. You can search by location, you can search by company, you can search by keyword, you can search by business title. You can start to really dig into who you know and how it works. So I went for the next one, just put in Colorado Springs, Colorado. Okay? Took me to 35 people. Okay, so that's manageable. I can look through 35 people, and it looks like in those top, you can see they have a little extra icon underneath the profiles there. I know somebody that knows somebody that works at this Marriott. Maybe not the right person. It looks like by their job title, it's not exactly the person I'm looking for, so maybe I have a few more steps to go, but at least I have that first contact point. I'm gonna note that maybe I see how I know them, and maybe I can come back to that when I figure out who do I actually wanna call. So then I went on to keyword search. You're looking for anything that could be in their job title, right? Marketing, business development, sponsorship, community, partnerships. All of these are potential people that are who you may be looking for an eventual conversation about a potential partner. I tried a couple different things. This wasn't my first try, but marketing got me to the person here at Colorado Springs, the director of marketing for the Colorado Springs Marriott, who would be who I'd want to try to get in touch with if I wanted to reach out to this local property and see if they wanted to support our swim club. So this is a place where at some cases you might come up with 2 or 3 people that show up at this level of the search. They may all be involved in the marketing department. Which one do you choose? You can start to click into their profile, see how they present themselves, see what their online resume looks like, see if there's any tips in there that say, you know what, it's probably this one versus that. This is the one place where LinkedIn does differ from Facebook and many of the other social media channels. When you click into another LinkedIn user's profile, it tracks that and actually sends a notification to that LinkedIn user that I, Jerry Wessner, have looked at their profile. It's not a bad thing by any means, but just be aware that it's not quite as incognito as some of the other social media networks that you can go around and see how your brother's best friend from 3rd grade's doing. So again, not a bad thing. Sometimes it's nice because it sends them a note, says that you were looking, and when you call 3 days later, maybe your name is a little bit more recognizable. There are some workarounds to make that incognito if you'd like to. I want to make sure I get all the way through, so I'll get back to that in the questions if we can. The last piece is really, we started with the idea of a common situation, right? I need to find a guy that knows a guy that knows a guy and make a couple different asks, and it might fall through. But if you've taken the time, set up your network, set up your organization as a business, then use it. When the time comes, make that ask. So in that Marriott example, the connection that I had was an old colleague of mine. So it's not hard to just send him an email, say, hey, Aaron, I saw that you know Catherine, who works at the Marriott in Colorado Springs. Could you make a connection so that I can ask her a little bit about maybe supporting our swim team on the local level? In fact, I literally just got an email like that as I was walking up to the podium. It's a really easy ask because it's very direct. They know what you're looking for. And most people are going to try to help you out and connect you to the people that you're looking for. So kind of as we finish up, again, 10 tips. I want to put it a little bit in perspective because I know we're here saying, get on Facebook, post every day, get on Instagram, get on Snapchat, now get on LinkedIn as well. Hey, it's a great idea that maybe you have the time to do all these things, but in reality, that might not be the case. And so if you don't have all the time to do all of these things, focus on these 4. Okay? Get your team out there. Again, you can make a list or a page for your team at the next break. Really, you can. You know the information that's on there. Then get yourself on LinkedIn as well. and then start connecting with your swim network and use it when it's appropriate. So if there's only 4 things that you do on the LinkedIn platform, consider doing these 4. It's going to get you in a good place to make everything just a little bit easier and a little bit smoother, and really use the people that you know in a way that they're going to be happy to help you.